What's up, crypto gamers? I'm pleased to share I've got some updates on Shrapnel. First off, in regard to the litigation, they are open to a reasonable settlement, but they are determined to protect their rights in court and share that they have strong lawyers who will be there to protect them. That statement was shared on their Twitter. Now, on the game side, they have a event planned for the end of November where people are going to be able to dive back into the sacrifice zone for 7 days straight. This event will be aimed at celebrating the community in the last year that they had, and they're going to pack that week full of prizes. There's going to be digital rewards. There's even going to be physical rewards. I hear rumors about controllers and graphic cards, and there's going to be some updates to gameplay too. So they're going to have Revolver, they're going to have a new AR, and I even hear there's going to be a big announcement that week. So certainly stay tuned for more details. When we have a date to share, we will certainly share it. Huge shout out to our sponsor, Playa3ull Games. They are inspired by gamers and funded by their community. They have a epic game on the Epic Games Store, a third-person shooter called Nexus. Hop on in there and check that out. They're also currently selling nodes, so if you're interested, check that out at their website, playable.games. That is a 3 instead of a B on Playable. Now strap in for the rest of this episode of Interlinked.
The most pressing question on everybody's minds that we'd love to hear from you as our resident expert now is, are aliens real?
That's a great starting question. I think so. To be honest, I think there's definitely life outside of the Earth. I do believe in that. Whether we're going to meet them anytime soon, I don't know. But have you guys seen like all this stuff coming out now about UAPs and UFOs and how the government's been hiding some stuff? Have you guys been following this?
I have not, but please enlighten me.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of discussion around it at the moment. There's apparently some things that the U.S. government's been basically hiding, some UAPs and some random unidentified objects that have been spotted, which supposedly the government's trying to cover up from people. So yeah, I keep seeing it trending on Twitter. Like a lot of people are talking about it. I think I think it's picking up at a steam at the moment. So it's pretty interesting stuff.
Well, as the leader of UFOs and, you know, all of, I'll say extraterrestrial crypto, I would really just love to kind of hear your steel man and straw man thesis for why aliens are real and really just get the full blown answer, and maybe you could even start from first principles and yeah, just maybe you could just linger on that for a bit.
That's so funny, dude. I love that I've become the resident expert on aliens and UFO. To clarify, we're really experts on the blockchain gaming side of things, but definitely definitely the name itself for the projects was inspired by the fact that we do believe that there is just a lot that is being covered up. We're big into this conspiracy theory that there are UFOs and UAP sightings which are being reported, but then is being covered up by the government because they don't want everyone to get to the truth, essentially. And that's actually why our token is called the truth, because the truth is that there is extraterrestrial life out there that we just don't know about just yet.
So when you're talking about the truth though, like how did you come to this thesis, right? Because right now it feels like it's just a gut feeling, but as the leader of extraterrestrials of crypto and gaming, or maybe it's the leader of extraterrestrial gaming within crypto, whichever one. Yeah, like how do we actually know? And I'm serious. Like we've talked about aliens a bit on the show, on the pod before. but we've never had
Mhm.
anybody that's the head of a token called UFO before. So,
Yeah.
like what is it just based on the feels, or is there actual like science, or is it more of like, okay, we're just relying on what people are saying, those trying to kind of roast the government or say that the government's doing stuff like what are our pieces of evidence?
Yeah, I mean, look, to be honest with you, it's we started the project like 3 years ago, when there was basically specific documents, and articles were basically released. They were due to be uncovered. It was, yeah, basically around 3.5 years ago, on UFOs and UAPs. So that ended up being the basis of why we wanted to call the project The Truth. So yeah, I mean, there was some documents released, but now I think if you guys just Google UAP or just type it into Twitter like UAP news or UFO news right now, and there's just a lot of fresh news going on right now on like sightings, and it just seems like there's just documents that have been covered up. I'm not the expert. I don't claim to be an expert on this stuff. It's I'm a gamer, boys. Like I'm a gamer, and I'm passionate about blockchain gaming. That's my thing. I definitely don't see myself as somebody who speaks on behalf of UFO or UAP conspiracy theorists, but it's just something that I know right now is actually a hot topic. So yeah, I'd suggest like a search on Twitter, a search on Google. You can see the sort of witness statements and articles being provided, all the sightings, and people taking videos, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting stuff, to be honest. Like, it's exciting to think that there could just be this whole other, world and whole other, race out there that we just don't know about.
That's fascinating. So have you thought about where in our solar system they may be, like what planet or maybe a moon, or kind of what they are looking like, or sort of what their shape is? Have you gotten that far into it yet?
I haven't, man. I honestly don't give it that much thought. I'm more focused on how we can basically just grow our catalog of games, and get more players on board. That's really it, and just expand my knowledge of the crypto space. I'm more focused, I'd say, on crypto than the UFO side of things. But I do like the interest that you guys have on the subject. It's cool that you guys have talked about it before. Did you guys come to any conclusions, like on your previous conversations about this? Like, what was the general consensus that you guys came to?
Yeah, I think our main consensus is that we actually have no clue, but we're open to it. and,
Yeah.
and we really just wanted to get, we really just want to get more info, and we want to learn
Yeah.
more, because there's never a dearth of information. I think you just have to find it. Um,
Yeah.
but to perhaps steer the conversation a different way, um, maybe you're just holding your secret UFO knowledge for your hodlers only. But we're on to you, buddy.
Close. Holding my cards close to my chest here. Yeah, Ben.
That's
I'm not
right.
just gonna. I'm not the kind of guy you'll just bring in your podcast and within 5 minutes I'm going to spill the beans on everything, on all the conspiracies. You get to wine and dine me first, Ben. It takes a lot more than that.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought we could just get a little shock factor, get right into it. But yeah, I see we have to take it a little
You got
slower.
to work for it. That's it,
Yeah.
man. You got to work for it, mate. It doesn't come that easy. Oh, that's funny, man.
But in other news, what we are seeing is just an absolute god candle giga chad pump out of Bitcoin. I
Yeah.
want to go around the panel here and really just get some reactions, get a measure of our fear and greed at this moment in time. What's going on out there? What are the people feeling? What are the people thinking?
What are you thinking, Jared? I feel like I talked about UFOs a lot. I'll let you take this one first.
Oh man, I appreciate that. So I was going into the election without I wouldn't say sideline, but probably like a decent amount on the sideline. And then probably 2 or 3 days before the election, I went all in because I was looking at all the charts and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that Donald Trump is going to be elected, and I know there's going to be a Trump pump, and so I did that, and I was obviously pleasantly surprised, and I think just the sheer volume, it feels like a geyser has been opened up for the first time in almost a year, and it's not going to be stopped. It is going to be, I think, just continuing to be funneling in. The ETF inflows are just incredible, and I think that as far as the altcoins and when the quote unquote alt season is going to start, I don't even think we've begun to see even the ramifications of that. I mean, you can look at things like Solana, which I think is sort of a good guideline for a lot of coins. I think Ethereum's another good guideline. AVAX, a lot of the sort of top 50 coins, I think each have their own sort of a guideline for the alts below it, and they are not any, well, some are somewhat close, but a lot of them are nowhere near the all-time highs, and not to mention into price discovery. And I think this is going to be, obviously each bull run's different, but I think this one's going to be sort of different where it evolves around meme coins, plus our mid cap utility coins. And then, the top coins other than Bitcoin, I think are going to suffer a little bit. And that's just kind of my opinion on it. But, I'm really excited for it. I'm here. This is something that we've been waiting for years. And I'm certainly glad to be in at this point. That's my take.
Nice. Yeah, bro, honestly, you timed it perfectly. If you started well, you went heavy and deployed like a few days before the elections. That's like very good, research and decision making from your side. That's awesome, man. What do you mind sharing like what main kind of sectors you went into?
Oh, sure. So I have, I say sideline. I have a lot that's already in, and those are sort of on my decentralized wallet. The ones that weren't in are on my centralized wallet. I went
Uh-huh.
into Solana, I bought Doge, AVAX, and some like Beam and some lower type coins as well. Um,
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I have UFO that's already on my
Oh, good man.
decentralized wallet.
Good
You know,
man.
yeah, things like that. It's super. So it's kind of a
Nice.
mix, but nothing too low. I thought, meme coins, I have no idea. So I would go to the heavier one, like the higher ones. That's my thought. Doge worked out quite well. And then, I'll tell you, I was buying it all on Coinbase, so it had to be limited by what they were selling. So
Right. Yeah, Doge went crazy. Like it's just done insane like since the elections. Like it's yeah, that was one of the best plays. Like imagine if you'd leverage along that, you'd be having a great time at this point.
oh yeah, and I think Pepe just got, and Whiff, I think both just got listed on Coinbase. So I remember, I guess it was last cycle where when it got listed on Coinbase, the pump was incredible. Same when it got listed on Binance, and those two were like the sort of like the linchpin for your project to get listed on either or both of those was such
Yeah.
a advantage.
Yeah. No, that is like the goal for a lot of projects, to be honest, like the Binance and the Coinbase. But I just see these articles now and us like I speak to founders and we're also like we've had conversations with Binance and we've kind of gone through their due diligence process. But I'm seeing like some of the like costs that these big exchanges are now charging projects like 10-15% of supply, and it's just kind of crazy to me, you know like how much they're able to sort of justify, these top two especially, because they're doing that on like large projects, that have raised tens of millions, So some of these projects are paying like millions or if not tens of millions of dollars for these listings. And I just I don't know. I don't feel too as a founder, I don't feel too great about that. I don't think it should be like that. I think it should almost be like a fixed fee for everyone, or they should just not even charge a fee. It should just be like listing the top projects to just keep it a bit more fair. Then it's not like any kind of shady insider stuff. I don't know if you guys saw this, but were you following like the Nero PvP?
No, what's that?
Yeah, not to get too off topic, because I know we're talking about, Bitcoin in the market, but there was basically there was two tokens called Nero. They're both on Ethereum. They had a bit of a PvP going on. They were both meme tokens. So essentially, it was the same owner of Doge, the dog that Doge was based on, basically. Because that dog then passed, the owner got a new dog called Nero. So obviously this news caused several Nero tokens to be launched, and so there was a bit of PvP between these two of like who's gonna succeed. So I go and buy into one, and it seems to be winning. It seems to be doing extremely well. It's up to like 300 mil market cap, and then this other one called Nero CTO is sitting at like 10 mil market cap, right? And it's got like almost no volume. And then out of nowhere, Binance lists this 10 million market cap Nero, which is like 30 times smaller than the other one, with almost no volume. And yeah, it caused like a big stir. I know online, like a lot of people were saying like this is insider trading. This is like they've been paid off. Because just logically speaking, it doesn't make sense for him to have listed the project that's 30 times smaller than their, sort of almost exact replica. Does that make sense?
Wow,
I guess my
that's
question
amazing.
is, why wouldn't it make sense for them? And here's my reasoning.
Mhm.
Binance is they're in the game of making money. And in order to
Yeah.
make money, they need to be able to deliver projects that are going to go up to their traders and their investors. So like they're essentially like the Giga Chad alpha callers of the entire space. Whatever they list, they're signaling to the market, okay, this should go up, right? In theory. And please poke holes if I'm off on my logic. And so what they've seen is that falling for the low float, high FTV trap, like everybody else, is not going to make them money. And like these ridiculously priced, um, let's call it utility coins that are just hugely um, FTV'd in the tens of billions without any users, without any real traction. It's just like trying to rinse and repeat what seems to have worked previously. Those have not worked. There are charts floating around. I think Murad was the one that kind of popularized a lot of the charts, showing how the only real gainers were meme coins. So they have an incentive to um, push tokens that are going to make the money and going to make their people money. So then if they have to do that, then they're going to go into the meme coin meta because that's what people are excited about. That's where the volume is going to come from. And if they're going to go into the meme coin meta, what are they more likely to make money on and drive volume on? Is it the higher FTV coins that may have already run, or is it the newer coins? And I don't know what the answer is, but I think that there could be an argument to be made from their side of, well, if we just get our people in earlier, then they'll be able to make more money and we'll be able to have delivered on our promise to them and drive a lot of volume and make a lot more money. Because I think people are just tired of feeling like exit liquidity when things are listed on Binance. So I think if you kind of follow the logic train that I set forth, which may or may not be valid. I'm not sure. I'm kind of like stress testing that thesis against you guys at the same time. So, call me out if I'm just being a complete moron and don't realize it. But I do think that there is incentive for them to list smaller tokens, even if it may not necessarily be what the smart move necessarily actually is, for themselves or for their holders. They may be experimenting with it, or in this particular, and I'm extrapolating out beyond this one particular case. This one particular case, they may have just gotten it wrong. Um, but I do think there is incentive for them to try to catch these things earlier on so that they look like heroes to their audience. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
You know,
no, you go, bud, you go.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate that. I think that, obviously, I think you nailed it. Like, they need to make money. And I think a lot of it has to do with, some of the other sites like pump.fun. We've seen some other ones that are popping up, and the sheer volume that is going over those exchanges is just mind-blowing and staggering. And whether it goes up or it goes down, they're going to make a percentage on the sales. So it's that business decision is extremely difficult to pass up, regardless of whether or not a specific token is going or should or shouldn't be listed. But I do sort of like the idea of having it sort of really specific criteria that need to be followed. And once you hit that criteria, you're in. And if you don't hit it, you're out. And I think that would kind of make it a little bit more transparent. And the volume, I think, would be there regardless. And that may be sort of a better way to do it. I don't know. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I really like Ben's argument, actually. It's actually an interesting point that I never thought of. So I'm happy to hear it. It's always good when somebody gives you like a fresh perspective and kind of teaches you something. I think it is true. Like it is such a good thing to be able to for them to focus on giving their investors like multiple exits. Like listing a token that's at 300 mil, that okay might go, let's say, to a bill or 2 bill. That's a few X's, but like if it's at 10 mil, I mean that's crazy. Now that token is at 1 bill, so that's done a huge return on anyone that did buy on Binance. So that's actually what's ended up happening. So I do agree with that aspect. I think the only aspect I would disagree with is just not regarding your overall theory, but it's just more on this case in particular, which is that both of these tokens launched at the same time, and they're like the same narrative. They're just both called Nero. They're both memes. There's no utility. So for them, there is one which is they're both, like fair launch. I don't think that any of them did a raise or anything like that. They had VCs involved. I mean, they probably bundled or sniped or however they did the launch, but still. But one of them was clearly having a lot more volume, a lot more traction, a lot more interest, because it was 30 times bigger than the other, and the volume was like 10, 20 times more. For me, it's the smallest token that I've seen listed on Binance, like a 10 mil market cap token. I've personally never seen that listed on Binance. Usually they want you to be a lot bigger than that. So that's why these questions and of sort of corruption or somebody got paid off have come into play. I think that there was like a rumor that Justin Sun came in and bought a huge amount of supply, or just was given a huge amount of supply to basically push through this listing. So it was these kind of rumors around that. I think that it did, from what I could see, it was like impacting Binance's reputation, because it is just very, very strange. It's the lowest listing that I've seen. Usually projects need to be much bigger for them to look at it. Like, look at the recent ones they listed, like Peanut. It was at already a few hundred mil before they listed it, whereas something, a meme at 10 mil, like that's a very risky play from them, unless they were given I don't know, 10, 20, 30% of supply. So they go, yeah, like, you know, we're fine with that.
Yeah, that sounds like inside baseball for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's like I definitely think it well, let's put it this way. If they did that, then that I think that was a mistake. And I don't think they should have done that. And if they continue to do that, they're gonna lose the trust of the people and then they're gonna lose their business model. Because that's just total silliness, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But if they didn't do it and perhaps they just made a mistake, which, it happens, then maybe that is somewhat of a I don't know if it's a top signal, but maybe it's some sort of signal amongst the noise that perhaps Binance is starting to lose their edge. Like I think either way, it does not bode well for them. Um, and if anything, why would they not just list them both? Just list them both.
Mm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because then they're covered on both sides. So
I think it's just because the ticker, right? They'd both be Nero. So it'd be like Nero 1, Nero 2, and then I think because of that.
yeah, no, I
What's
definitely
To be
I
honest,
hear
what's
you.
funny, what's actually funny, Ben, it's interesting you said that. They listed the big one on Binance futures, like perps first, and then 2 weeks later, they listed the smaller one on the actual spot. So one of them is on spot and the other one's on futures. And it's just a very strange, very strange thing. Like I really don't know.
They definitely
But yeah.
fucked up then.
Yeah,
They
something really weird going on there. But yeah, like not to get too stuck on that situation, I don't want to delve too deep into like this project in particular with you boys, but I just thought it was something interesting, like that these exchanges are like taking huge amounts of project supply and still like doing some strange things in the background.
no, it's definitely starting more and more to sound like inside baseball. I think what we're seeing now is like a precursor of what's to come in that memes just the fact that memes are dominating a tremendous amount of the mind share of um the cultural zeitgeist of definitely of a lot of influencers. It feels like this is the meme coins moment in the sun. And I'm just not sure what's gonna happen post this, if that makes sense. Like how for how long will that actually continue? Because I do think that there's a lot to be said of, you know, it's a fad. It'll come and go. It'll have its moment in the sun, and then it'll go back into the normal amount of cultural zeitgeist that perhaps it deserves. And then the next thing will have its flavor of the month or flavor of the week or whatever it is. And we'll just keep kind of ricocheting back and forth from thing to thing and, do whatever we do. What are your thoughts? Because obviously, you're very, very much so bullish gaming and you're deep in gaming, having founded a project. And candidly, I'm very, very much so balls deep in the gaming sector and heavily allocated to gaming. And, eh, so I hope that the meme coins don't suck up all the liquidity that perhaps would have been what pumped our bags, but you never really know. So what do you guys think of
Yeah, sure, man. I can go first. So yeah, I think I think it's honestly quite natural that everybody's kind of just sick of these like VC, as you were talking about, Ben, like these high FTV, low float tokens where, they've got monthly unlocks and everyone's just getting dumped on, or these projects that promised to be building so much and then deliver nothing and ended up basically having like the same utility as a meme anyway. So people are like, well, why don't I just buy a meme? Why do I have to buy something that's pretending to be a utility project, but at the end of the day, it's just a meme. So I think this is just an effect of just people being kind of sick of the amount of like fake projects out there who are just promising the world and really delivering nothing. So in my opinion, I like it. It's kind of like an FU to what's, you know, what people are trying to do, and the people that are trying to just overpromise and not deliver and just kind of sell the dream and, you know, try to extract you know, investment from people. I think that this changes when there is a bit more regulation in place, and I think that this changes when there is a lot more. There's more legitimate projects than illegitimate projects, you know, in the space. Because right now there's just most projects are just vaporware out there, you know, and I've I've seen that so much. It's so many, like, you know, quote unquote gaming projects or AI projects. They're just kind of like scrapped together, like people trying to see what they can promise and put on a website and then just kind of sell the dream. It's kind of reminds me of the you know, 2017 days where, you know, they were doing these like raises and IPOs and stuff. So I think that once there's a lot more regulation in place, and I think that once it's just a lot more like legitimate projects as like an easier way of doing due diligence and understanding like who are the actual genuine projects out there, then I think a lot more of the capital will go towards utility plays, you know, like gaming, like AI, and these other industries that I think have a really good use case in crypto. So I'm kind of just waiting for that. But like it did get ridiculous, guys. Like it just got to a point when while gaming was trending, like everybody was building a game. Like it was just, it seemed like literally everyone was like, yeah, I have a game, you know. Like just I'd see NFT projects, that guys that are just, they just artists, they just draw art and sell it as an NFT, and they're like, we're building a game. And I'm like, what do you know about building a game, dude? Like, how are you going to build the game economy? And like, do you have a gaming studio? It's like, oh no, but we're gonna build it. We're telling people we're gonna build a game. So it's just, I've seen so much of that, and yeah, everyone was just trying to jump on that bandwagon. Now everyone's like, yeah, we're building an AI agent. You know, everyone's like, yeah, we're building this, but it's like, what do you actually know about that? So I think once there is just less of this like people like faking stuff just to try and, you know, make money in a kind of unethical way, and it's just clear and apparent who the genuine players are and the builders are and people that like deliver, at that point I think a lot more of the liquidity can rotate back into these utility projects. But for now, I think people are just very sick of like being sold the dream, and then, you know, it ends up they actually thought they were buying a utility project, but it turned out to be a meme anyway. So yeah, that's my theory on it. But, you know, keen to hear what you guys think. You know, Jared, like what's your thoughts on?
Yeah, I love what you said about the you know, sort of like that ICO VC market where, or TGE market, where you've got, you know, a new token or in a new project, and you know, they're, again, this is everything we're doing, and it's sort of a scripted sort of, you know, model where here's the things we're doing, AI, gaming, whatever those are, but there's no real input and sort of substance behind it. And then, you know, the VCs are sort of taking that and packaging it in a certain way and putting it toward their investors. And like you said, the, you know, the diluted market with the unlocks is such a sort of wieldy maze to go through that it just it wears thin. And it's like, look, you know, and again, we've talked about this before, and I think really, so once this sort of wave of those projects dies out, the real projects with the meat behind it, where, you know, they have a team, they're building real things, and those products start to roll out, it's just going to be, I think, an unbelievable switch to, oh wow, look what crypto can actually do. It's not just a meme, it's not just an idea, it's an actual use case, and you have these actual you know, proof in the pudding, so to speak, of actual projects with real things coming out. And I think that's going to change the sort of the plateau, and it'll have a new sort of level of what a project can be, and what people are striving for. And I'm ready for that. I mean, I think that's going to be amazing. You'll still have, obviously, like you're saying, those memes, because I think that's such a part of the culture now, and it's such a sort of important part of where we are and how to express yourself, that, and they're fun. So absolutely, I think that'll still go. But I think there'll be a shift once we get to that point where there are, sort of real projects, and not just one or two. I mean, like, 10 or 15 in a row, where it's like, wow, this is real. People are actually using it. And again, I think gaming is going to be where that's headed. So, what do you think? What do y'all think about that sort of direction with gaming at the forefront?
Well, perhaps the comment on, the we kind of point five switch topics, but it's all kind of I think it's all kind of the same topic. But I do think that people are realizing that right now the pumpamentals are favoring meme coins. And I actually think if we dig a little bit deeper and start to try to figure out why, it's not that difficult to figure out. If you have a lot of supply going to VCs and other early investors, then the whole point for them is to try to make money. And the only way that they make money is to sell. And so you have this situation where 100% of the time, the early investors are trying to sell on the late investors, because we've just seen historically the tokens are, at least in the beginning, not going to go up permanently, and perhaps ever. They may never go up again. And so they have to de-risk. They need more capital to play the game some more and take their next round of bets. And so it kind of turns into this vicious cycle where you don't have alignment of holders. And that sucks for the holders that come in late. And those people are retail. And those people, frankly, are tired of it. And they've started to figure it out, which seems like it's healthy for a market to have more advanced, or at least more knowledgeable participants in it. It just seems inherently like a good idea. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but I definitely think so, as far as like having a more mature market where more people are going to be able to feel comfortable coming in, because they don't think that it's all inside ball. And if enough people think of it that way and try to take the perspective of, hey, we're trying to make all this go up together, then it actually becomes less of inside ball. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. The interesting thing is, you're also seeing a lot of the VCs ape in to some of the meme coins, whether that be the AI meme coins or the normal meme coins, whatever. Now, they may not be able to do it on their like quote unquote professional book, but they certainly are doing it on their personal book. And so I think it's just kind of capturing the cultural zeitgeist. But it really gets back to like the whole WAGMI feel of like, hey, we're actually all in this together. Everybody hodl. And so there's kind of all those dynamics coming into play. There's also the dynamics of just the simple fundamentals of, if you have more tokens that are unleashed upon the public day one, it is going to be harder to pump that token, because there's not as much low float, high FTV, but there's going to be a significantly easier time aligning the community and keeping it up once it does go up, because everybody's playing the same game. And so you have a lot more people. It took a lot more people putting in a lot more capital to make something go up. And they don't have this boogeyman of these early investors that are going to dump on their heads as quickly as they possibly can. And everybody's kind of figured that game out. So I think it's kind of this like mixture of different, it's kind of like a mixture of different forces that have all come together at the same time. And also it's fun. And you're seeing places like Robinhood and Coinbase and Binance now listing all this stuff. So it's going to be very easily accessible to the public. So they don't have to go figure out how to go click through and use a DEX. They can just ape in from their phone. It's very easy to onboard them. So I think you kind of have a lot of different factors moving into it.
Yeah. Yeah. What I also love is like how much the meme industry has evolved now, and how much has changed. Like if you look at meme coins back then versus meme coins now, it's just they're done in a completely different way, and it's such a I don't know. It's funny to like see it as an industry, right? But the the meme coin industry has really evolved. You know, like now you're seeing these AI memes. You know, like Goat, Medusa. You know, who are like created by AI. There was another one, Pure AI, that just launched on Crypto Banter a few days ago. Um, it's pretty cool to see that, and people have really became so much more sophisticated. I think investors have become so sophisticated now with all the tools that they have access to. You know, some of my friends are just like amazing traders, and I look at the tools that they're using to analyze whether they buy into memes and or not, or you know, help support something or not. And it's just so fascinating. They literally analyze every aspect of it. You know, who's deployed it and how much does the team have, and you know, who was the first, let's say 30 wallets to buy. Are they insiders or is it fair distribution? Do any wallets have more than 1%? A lot of this stuff that in the last cycle just nobody really looked at or cared about. You know, it was just like, oh, you know, it's just this team or whatever. And well, you know, how good the marketing is, who's got a it last bull run, it was like who's got a billboard in Times Square. You know, you remember those days when it would just be whatever project gets a billboard in Times Square, takes a picture of it, they're gonna crush it. You know, whereas now, like people are really anti cabal. You know, everyone in the meme industry is now looking for more like CTOs and more like community led memes where there's not necessarily this like, you know, cabal behind it. It's all about like really fair distribution where community members are getting to push it. And I love that aspect of it. I love the fact that the community is regarded as such an important part of it. And yeah, and I feel like it does make me think, boys. It does make me think. When are we going to see a Neo Tokyo meme? You know, because you guys have one of the craziest communities that I've seen, like the most tight knit, kind of higher level founders. Like it's like an ultra high value community. You know, with some huge players. I feel like a meme could do pretty well with this community. Have you thought about that?
First of all, we are the Illuminati of crypto gaming. So if we wanted to, we could. Second of all, if we do choose to, it's not like we would tell everybody. We would do things in the back rooms in secret. We would plan and push, and we would make sure it was the greatest meme coin of all time. That's all I have to say on the matter.
Very secretive. Okay, well, I hope now that I'm actually in the community, hopefully you guys will tell me about it as well. Once this is happening.
Well, like Ben said, there'll never be a tell, but there'll be signs throughout the ether, and you have to
I see.
find those and then track it down and then do your due diligence and probably work out a few riddles, and then you'll get the answer.
I see. I see. Makes sense. Makes sense. You boys don't make it too easy. I know you guys like your riddles. I've seen the recent ones with the Whisperer. It's been pretty cool to follow that. So yeah, that's cool.
Now, as a freshly minted citizen, you do have access to some insider Citadel information, and so you will be in the know. But everybody else who's a meatbag and not a part of Neo Tokyo, they certainly will not. And
Hmm.
I got to tell you, I hope they brought their jackets and their blankies because it's going to be very, very cold on the outside watching all of us do the things that we do. It's going to be very
And
chilly.
and winter is coming.
That's
You
right.
need to make that clear. And it's going to be a cold winter if you're not in Neo Tokyo.
Exactly. So I do want to kind of bring it to gaming a bit because I think what we're going to see is, and this is my hope, I think we're going to see a reversion back to gaming because gaming I think has the ability to cross the chasm and to reach that point where it has meme like marketing and community, and it has technology level product. So I do think gaming has the ability to like give us the best of all worlds, but right now we're just not seeing gaming move that much. So would love to kind of get y'all's opinions on like, are we just trying to, do we have one foot in each, do we have one foot in each industry to the point where we're going to just be unable to do anything because we're like half and half, and we're chasing two rabbits and not catching one? Or is that going to turn into our superpower where we can dominate both sides?
I feel that's a good question for Jared, because he's seems like he's got a very well thought out portfolio, and he did time the pump quite well. So I'm quite keen to hear what his
Yeah,
insights are on this.
that's a great question. And you know, I think the gaming as a whole, I think right now it's a let's wait and see what the next project is and how it does, meaning the next one that comes out. So like Mavia had their game launched, you had Off the Grid recently. So what's the next iteration of that? And you know, those maturing titles that are out there, what are they going to look like? And I really do think it's a wait and see. And I'm actually a little bit surprised by how low gaming is, you know, in this recent pump. It seems like it hasn't sort of caught on, like obviously like memes and like some of the larger utility tokens, and a lot of the I think that is but I think that's going to be a sort of next iteration, like the next step down, where you've made some money in, you know, your AVAX and your Solana and certainly your Bitcoin, and you're going to take it out, and now you're going to ride that next wave. What is that next wave? Gaming, I think, is a really good spot, whether it's the next wave or the wave after. I do think it's definitely going to happen, but I do think some catalyst has to come out, whether that's a new project, whether that's, you know, something going live with one of the current projects, or you know, some event that everybody's like, ooh, okay, that makes sense. I like that. That is something that I could put some money behind. And I do think we need to see that sort of next wave come out. And I think that's also going to, you know, bring some of those mid cap utilities with it, like say, you know, certain chains like the Zai chain or, you know, the Ronin chain. A lot of those that are out there waiting for, you know, something to hit. And I do think it's going to happen. And, you know, I'm curious as to what that next one is going to be myself. And would love some insight on what you guys think about that too.
Yeah, I actually agree with you, Jared. I do feel like people are just waiting for, the next kind of catalyst for the key narrative change and rotation, because I think that that's how the market moves, right? It's in terms of trends. I mean, like just before the memes, it was just all about AI. Anything AI or with the word AI was like going crazy, because there was like, just this ridiculous run that Nvidia had, and the chip shortage, and the fact that we're just, all these big businesses are in this kind of like rush to try and get as much compute as possible. There's like this ridiculous shortage in GPUs, right? So yeah, that was like the catalyst, I think, for this crazy AI run. And obviously like ChatGPT, like everyone's using AI now, for all sorts of things. So that's what kicked it off. I think gaming needs something like that. We need some sort of catalyst to be released, like widespread adoption of, let's say, Web3 gaming. Like maybe the App Store just becomes a lot more friendly with Web3 gaming, and a lot of the games integrate crypto into it, for example. Just something has to happen. The last big thing that happened in the gaming side was really, yeah, like Off the Grid was obviously huge. It was a lot of these like node projects, like Aether, for example, where it was like this kind of cloud gaming angle, which obviously hits the AI and deeper narratives as well. But yeah, I feel like I feel like we're just waiting for some big news around gaming that's just going to cause a big rally and like a narrative shift. That's my personal thoughts on it. And I think like a lot of people are now waiting for some of these big games to be delivered. Like in the last bull run, so many people were obviously Axie Infinity was huge, but then there still hasn't been a AAA Web3 game, right? And I think that's what a lot of projects were promising in the last bull run, like Illuvium, for example, and a few others. They were promising these like really high quality, like top graphics Web3 games. So I think people just want to see that now. They want to see that evidence of that being possible and that working and a big player base before they really commit hard. Like we need some good hard stats on that side of things. But I do think, yeah, like Off the Grid's obviously picked up a huge amount of hype. And there are some gaming projects that are obviously, gaining a lot of traction, which is amazing for the industry. But yeah, me personally, I think, yeah, it just has to be some big news around gaming, some big catalyst that's just going to bring all the attention back and is going to make us the kind of hottest narrative, of the bull run.
I think it's simple. We've been saying for so long that all we need is one hit game. And we've been saying that for a long time. And now we are at a point where it's kind of time to put up or shut up. You know? I mean, if we really want to go the distance and we really want to be the future of France, gaming sector and all that, then we've got to deliver a hit product. We've got to deliver a great actual game. So I think we probably have until the end of 2025 to really launch at least one mainstream title or, cumulatively like push through a couple of great products or a few big wins, or else I think we've lost our moment. And that sucks to say and to think about, but let's be realistic. Like they want something that actually works. They want to play something that's fun. They want to invest in things where number go up. And they're only going to be so patient and people are only going to like believe the pipe dream for so long without having some sort of confirmatory evidence. So I think we probably have about 12 months and then we lose all of the hype and the narrative and the belief of the marketplace. That's my prediction.
And Ben, what do you think about the state of like off the grid and that what would be sort of that next thing that is the catalyst, that is the game? Would that be going live, or what does that look like to you?
I think that means continuing to, well, first of all, it's still early stage. So we don't really have full confirmed, you know, this is these are the droids we're looking for from that. I think it's our closest or our best bet right now, for sure. But I don't think we've fully seen it. And I don't even know exactly what that looks like, but I know that it's not quite there yet. It felt like that when the streamers were going nuts. And everybody was kind of piling in and, but that was very short-lived. Like that went away in like a week at most. So I don't know what it looks like continuously. It probably looks like, numbers on Twitch or other streaming services staying sustainably high or supplanting some of the other, games of that caliber that we want to be. And it definitely looks like token price going up, which, we haven't seen the off the grid token launch. So that perhaps is the catalyst. But I think you'll know it when you see it, and it'll just feel different. It'll feel more real, and there'll be actual data and evidence and more than just vibes of, you know, what it's going to be, what it's going to look like for a while and into the future. What do you think?
Yeah, Ace, go ahead. Tell us what you think about that, and then sort of, I think at some point we need to weave in a little UFO speak as well. Not
Oh yeah.
the unidentified flying objects, but the project.
Yeah, we did spend a while talking about aliens. That was fun, guys. Yeah, I do agree with both of you guys. I feel like yeah, it is just down to getting more traction, more visibility, just seeing like more success from Web3 games that people are really enjoying playing. So I'm really hoping that yeah, during this bull run we do get to see that. The problem is like, you know, being on the other side of like the people building the games, like I understand how long this takes. I mean, our game is not crazy complicated. I mean, we're not trying to build something like, you know, it's not like a AAA. It's just like a fun kind of arcade game where, you know, it's like a shooter where we've just added, you know, a little bit more of a complex like breeding system, and you know, where you can upgrade different body parts and breed and create like stronger you know, soldiers, and you're going to be really strategic with it. So you know, but we've not tried to create something like World of Warcraft, you know. But even this game, like we've been working on this for like 3 years. You know, I just I think a lot of people don't understand like just quite how long it takes to build these games. You know, look how long GTA development takes, boys. Like, you know, we're still waiting. But obviously it's even more challenging with the blockchain interactivity aspect. You know, it's not just you're building like a standard game and it takes a while. Just integrating it onto the blockchain, adding some sort of, you know, play to earn element, making sure that it's not you know, super inflationary, the tokenomics element, the GameFi, the play to earn side of things, like they are really complicated. They're really hard to get it right. And I gotta be honest, I haven't seen a project like nail it yet. I haven't seen one. And you know, I don't want to offend other people, or like, you know, even seem like I'm putting ourselves down. But like so far, just in terms of release games, like look at Axie, like the game economy, just you know, it just got destroyed. You know, it was so inflationary, and then they try to control it. Then just you know, it was just a mess. It's because the industry is so new. I think that it's still very, very fresh, and it's one of the first kind of use cases for crypto that trended, right? Because in the last bull run, that's when gaming was kind of leading it, I would say, and that's when a lot of gaming projects were founded and funded. And you know, I've got some friends who had gaming projects that raised like $100 million plus, and I'm just like, dude, what are you even what are you even spending 100 mil on? Like, you know, that's for a game, that's ridiculous, you know. Um, but I think they raised so much money, and now it's just time to deliver something. But all we can do is like look at what's out there, trying to learn from their mistakes, like the issues that other people had. It's just such a new industry. Obviously, gaming has been around for so long, but crypto gaming, blockchain gaming is still really, really new. It's really, really fresh. So I feel like we just need to see more like integration, more projects like working together. And this is why I love like Neo Tokyo communities, because you know, it really brings these founders together. It really encourages collaboration, and you know, it's all about helping and supporting each other. You know, when I joined recently, like you know, it was like a week ago or something, too, like the warmth of the welcome, how helpful everyone is in there. Like everyone's just like, you know, let me know if you need anything, or you know, like there's already people I'm speaking to about potentially like, you know, working you know, working together on some things and some collaborations and partnerships. Like I think that sort of stuff helps just propel the industry forward. I think like if we can all teach each other, um, you know, our mistakes, if we can just explain like, hey, look, we've been running this project, like this is all that, like this is what I like to do. If I meet like a gaming founder, I'm just like, I'd love to like tell you all the things that I've learned and all the mistakes that I've made, because I've made a huge amount. And I'd love to like learn from your mistakes too, because it's such a fresh industry, and this is what I think you have to do to thrive and survive at this point. So as I said, like, you know, what Neo Tokyo is doing, like bringing these founders together, and a lot of the guys in gaming, I think that's so good for the industry, and I think that it allows it to like to develop. But yeah, in terms of like what we need to see in terms of a catalyst to like skyrocket gaming forward, I think, yeah, like I know what you guys are saying. I hear you. It's like that people want to see price action, and the market cap's increasing and stuff. But to be honest, like I don't know. I think most of the gaming founders I know, they're not like too focused or driven by the price. Like I don't really check the price of the market cap of UFO. I feel like it's just mentally unhealthy. We're just more focused on like building it, delivering a fun game, and you know, it's we see it as like a utility token, you know, rather than like something we're trying to pump, you know. And I think a lot of gaming founders are the same. But obviously, once it gains a lot of traction and interest, and people are like really excited about it, then you know, the token price going up is obviously the best kind of marketing. So I guess once we see like gaming projects, you know, a lot of them going into the multiple billions, or you know, tens of billions, for example, valuations, that'll definitely signal that we're sort of moving towards another, you know, shift in the towards the GameFi run for us.
Yeah, I think that was super well said. And yeah, I think you know, both of you are right. Like it hasn't happened yet, and we're waiting for it to happen, and we'll know it when we see it. Um, so that's really good. So I wanted to also give you an opportunity to go through, you know, UFO and sort of what's next and what's happening now and upcoming exciting things as well.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, for those of you listening that don't know about UFO, you know, we launched about 3.5 years ago. So in the last bull run, we were one of the top GameFi projects. I think we were the third biggest at one point. We were at like a 1.6 bill market cap. Our project's quite unique because we actually did a fair launch, and we actually, yeah, we had no VCs, no investment, anything. It's been self-funded for the last 3 years. And we just decided to go down a different route. You know, a friend of ours, we told him we want to, you know, basically launch like this GameFi project. We had this gaming studio, everything ready, and a friend of ours actually launched the guy behind Shiba Inu. So he was like, guys, you should launch it as a meme first, and then convert into a gaming project. So we end up kind of following his lead, and that was kind of the origin of our project, you know, with the links to the Shiba deployer and the Shiba team and everything. So what we're about is really just building fun games, and we're all about community. So we've got this cult-like, I guess, cult-like meme-like community, and we've got our flagship sort of first game, Super Galactic, which we've been building for like over 3 years now. We're in the closed beta at the moment, so we've got like 100 people playtesting it, and you know, enjoying themselves on the game. I think we're going to be releasing the full kind of open beta within the next couple of months. So it's a pretty exciting time for us. We just saved a lot of our sort of big catalysts and releases and partnerships and updates. Once we wanted to just see a bit more, you know, positive market conditions, I guess, for crypto overall and gaming. So we just announced like we're going to be basically shifting our game to Beam. So we've just partnered with Beam, and obviously, you know, decided to join Neo Tokyo to just start collaborating a lot more with other gaming founders. But yeah, we've got some pretty exciting releases over the next few months. We've just been building over the bear market pretty quietly, so we're just going to start rolling out some key catalysts and partnerships, and you know, hopefully some exchange listings if all goes well. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Like, thanks for having me on, and thanks for giving me a bit of time to, you know, introduce UFO to those that haven't heard about us.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. Ben, I don't know if you have any sort of final thoughts or words, but I certainly wanted to thank Ace for coming on.
Yeah, I share that sentiment. Grateful for you to have come on and um, humored us with our deep dive attempt into UFOs and trying to pick your brain there, and digging into meme coins and Bitcoin and utility tokens, and just having a fun and wide ranging conversation here, as well as giving us a little bit of the uh, inside scoop on what's going on with your very own project too. So just want to express my gratitude and welcome to the Citadel, my friend. Welcome home.
Thank you so much, guys. Like, this was my first podcast, honestly, and yeah, I just love chatting with you guys. It's been really fun, and yeah, always down to do anything like this, or chat to you guys in future. Like, I enjoyed the talk a lot. So yeah, let's keep in touch, boys.
Let's do it. Appreciate you guys. And to everybody that is watching and listening, thank you for being a part of Interlinked. We will see you all on the next episode. Take care.